Okay, first up, why do our eyes play tricks on us? How can a totally still image on a page look like it's moving? Or how can one line look way longer than another when they're actually the exact same size? It's a really fundamental question about how we perceive the world. And what's the deal with memory? We like to think of it as this perfect, high-definition recording of our lives, right? But it's not. Not even close. Two people can witness the exact same car accident, be totally confident in what they saw, and yet tell completely different stories. How is that even possible? Could one of them be wrong? Or maybe both of them?
And get this one. Research has shown that even little babies, infants, who have never ever had a bad fall, will hesitate when they get to the edge of something that looks like a steep drop. So where does that instinct even come from?
See, these aren't just weird philosophical riddles. They are absolutely fundamental questions about how we think, how we feel, and why we do the things we do. And the amazing thing is, there's an entire science dedicated to finding the answers, and that science is psychology.
Now I know what some of you might be thinking. I have common sense, I already know a lot about people. And you're not wrong. But psychology goes so much deeper than that. It's a serious science that actually puts our everyday intuition to the test.
For instance, have you ever heard about something happening and immediately thought, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen all along? That feeling, it's a classic mental trap called hindsight bias. If I told you research shows that opposites attract, you'd probably nod and say, yeah, that makes sense. But if I told you the research shows birds of a feather flock together, you'd also probably nod and say, yeah, that makes sense too. And this is exactly why we can't always trust what just feels right.
And this really gets to the heart of the difference. Common sense is built on gut feelings, personal stories, and our own biases. Psychology, on the other hand, is built on the scientific method. It's all about gathering objective, hard evidence to understand what's going on, not just guessing. The core principle that drives his whole scientific approach is a big word, empiricism. But it's a simple idea. It just means that real knowledge comes from things we can actually observe and measure. So psychologists don't just sit around speculating, they are out there systematically observing, measuring, and testing their ideas about the world. So it's all about challenging our own assumptions to get to the truth of what's really going on inside our heads. Okay, so now that we've covered the how, let's take a quick tour of the what, all the amazing territory psychology explores. All right, let's map out this inner world. Think of psychology as this huge, sprawling landscape. We can't see it all at once, but we can look at a few key areas to get a feel for the terrain. First up, there's biological psychology. This is where we see how your brain literally builds the reality you experience. Light hits your eye, gets turned into electrical signals, and boom, you see a dog. This field connects our physical hardware, the brain, neurons, hormones, to our mental software, our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Then you've got cognitive psychology. Okay, I want you to look closely at this image. I promise you those two horizontal yellow bars are the exact same length. Go ahead, measure them if you don't believe me. It's a fantastic illusion that shows how our minds use mental shortcuts to make sense of the world. Super helpful most of the time, but sometimes they can really fool us. This field is all about thinking, memory, and problem solving.
Next, we have developmental psychology, which is just incredible. It basically maps our entire journey as human beings, from our very first breath to our last. It asks how we form attachments as babies, how we figure out who we are as teenagers, and how we navigate the challenges and find wisdom in our later years.
And honestly, that is just scratching the surface. There's social psychology, which looks at why we behave differently in a crowd than we do when we're alone. There's psychodynamic psychology, which dives deep into the unconscious drives that shape us without us even knowing it. Really, for every part of being human, there's a branch of psychology trying to understand it.
Okay, this is all fascinating stuff, but what does it actually mean for you? I mean, how can you use any of this? Well, psychology isn't just about theory. It's a practical, hands-on toolkit. Just look at this, for example. This lays out a real therapeutic technique. It's a step-by-step, research-backed plan to help someone overcome a phobia, like a fear of spiders. You start small by just thinking about one, and you gradually and safely work your way up. This kind of method-based approach comes directly from psychological science. The things you'll learn in psychology literally help you build your own personal toolkit for life. You can learn strategies backed by science to manage stress. You can discover techniques to actually improve how you learn and remember things. You can build stronger, better relationships. You can finally start to understand what really motivates you and the people around you. Here's a super simple, super powerful example. What's this number? 7 to 9 hours.
Well, empirical data shows that this is the optimal amount of sleep adults should get every night for good mental and physical health. That's not a guess, it's a data-driven insight you can literally use tonight.
And really, that's the whole point. It's about taking these data-driven insights and applying them so we can all live lives that are a little more effective and a little more understood.
And that brings us to the final, and I think most important piece of this whole puzzle, your journey.
Because what you're about to start here is so much more than just another academic subject. It's really an exploration of the one thing you're guaranteed to have for your entire life, your own mind.
It isn't just about learning facts to pass a test. It's about what this says right here. It's about gaining new knowledge that can help you better understand and guide your own personal journey through life.
So I guess the only question left is this. Are you ready to finally open up that user's manual and start reading?